Any of you have ever seen a violet ray? You know what it is? It's a Tesla coil, basically, that has associated with it a glass electrode that, at least in its early days, was supposed to have the rare gas argon in it. And it puts out a violet-colored, high-intensity electrical current, which Edgar Cayce used to say was good for a number of problems, including baldness. And if you touch a violet ray device, or a person who is touching a violet ray device, and you can move this down 2 or 3 people and hold in your other hand a fluorescent light bulb, it lights up. And that's kind of impressive looking, to see somebody holding a fluorescent light up here, shining light out, and not have any electricity connected to it directly. And I try to get people to understand this interconnection of electricity and electromagnetism and our connections one with another, and to demonstrate the effect of touching the human body with an electromagnetic generator and how it changes the output from electronic equipment. And so we put on these little things to try to just get people to be aware of electromagnetism. There is some excellent evidence in Europe that learning is accelerated in the presence of music. It chose to use music as a conditioning tool to help people relax and get into a state in which they're programming healing. I want you to understand that we didn't give them a tape player and send them home. We had 3 marvelous musical vibrating beds, one of which today is now selling for $43,000. I thought it was bad when it was $26,000. The Baytar, and it is marvelous. It's got this sort of bed that hangs down in space by chains from a geodesic dome with 20 speakers in the room. It looks like a little radio transmitting station, and your whole body vibrates with the music, to say the least. The sound is wonderful, the vibration is excellent, and it's enough to put almost anybody in a trance. Person got 10 sessions of music on a vibrating bed, plus another 20 hours of the same kind of music in a room that we created specially several years ago for its sound effects. We put crushed quartz crystal under the carpet, and where in all the places there's plaster, there's crushed quartz crystal. The whole building has been energized with quartz crystal. And if you're standing in the middle of this room with these marvelous speakers going, you actually can feel the music coming up through your feet. They were given either glass or quartz, and they were told, of course, that it would be a double-blind study. Nobody would know who was getting what. It would be arbitrarily assigned. 202 people altogether. And in 3 of the groups, just to satisfy my curiosity, I just took out 2 handsful of one of glass and one of quartz and mixed them up. Nobody knew which was which. And I asked people to choose their own. It was quite interesting to me. Half the people chose glass. They didn't know the difference. And we did this in a little ceremony when they got their crystal, of passing the crystal through a candle flame and mentally releasing any stored electromagnetic energy in the crystal, programming what they wanted into the crystal. And we spent a lot of time with each individual getting them to focus on what they wanted. It had to be short, not more than 6 words. It had to have a high emotional meaning to them and an image that they could build with it. And then they would create the image and the words in their minds and will it and blow out into the crystal 3 times in a row. And then the crystal was worn in a white satin, bridal satin pouch around the neck. They were to reprogram the crystal every morning for 2 weeks minimum. We chose 8 pieces of music. Obviously, we could have left the music open, but arbitrarily I decided that we would restrict the music to 4 classical pieces and 4 New Age pieces. The New Age pieces that we chose were Stephen Halpern's spectrum suite, which is specifically intuitively created as music to balance the chakras. And each person then had multiple experiences with their choice of music on the music bed, in the music room, and when they finished, they had agreed to program their crystal and to use the tapes a minimum of 20 minutes twice a day, that's all, for a minimum of 3 months. That was the agreement when we started the research project. I don't think I tried. I was neutral. I really did not believe. I had no faith that crystals would be any better than glass. I knew that music conditioning and electrical stimulation transcranial, which they got every morning while they were at the clinic, just 10 days of that. I knew those things had to be good for people, but I didn't know whether crystals were any better than glass. And so I think I was as neutral as a person can be. The results, I'm going to refer to my notes so I don't make any mistakes about it. Here are the statistics. The depressed people got more quartz than their fair share. 88 out of 141 depressed people got quartz and only 54 got glass. Of those who got quartz, 70% were still free of their depression 3 months later. That's phenomenal odds. Those who got glass were hardly a placebo, only 31%, less than half as many. And yet, when we did the statistical analysis, even that was highly statistically significant. In other words, if you look at the changes in their scores, the conditioning program and the electrical stimulation all in itself helped some people with depression. But adding the quartz crystal was phenomenally better. I still have trouble believing it, but it's what we got. The back pain people, and these are all people with very significant back pain problems, 55% of those who got quartz were markedly improved in their pain. Only 23% of those who got glass were markedly improved. That's negative placebo response. Even that was statistically significant at about the 95th percentile. You know how statistics are. You can do anything with them. But the real difference was the quartz crystal compared to everything else. The chances of this happening by chance are less than 1 in 10,000. That's not bad.